Welcome to this episode of Say It with Scott, where we look at how the words we use can influence the people who read them. I'm Scott Sery. I'm a copywriter, and I love how we can take a word here and there, twist it around just a little bit, and dramatically change the entire message that we're sending. This episode is brought to you by Strategic Advisor Board and by my company, Sery Content Development. There comes a time in everybody's life, no matter if you're a professional writer or you dabble here and there or you just have to write an essay for a college level course, that you can't get the words even to start. People just like to call it writer's block. You have the idea, you know kind of what you want to put onto paper or onto the screen, but the words just aren't flowing. So I have 3 ways that you can overcome that writer's block and start to get those words out faster so you can just get them down and then go back and edit them later and clean them all up. I'm going to go kind of in reverse order on the way I like to use these, starting with the one that I don't use often. I've only used it a few times, but it's a phenomenal starting block. If you remember the movie from the year 2000 called Finding Forrester, there's a scene in there, kind of an ongoing scene, it's in multiple parts of the movie, that the young man Jamal is trying to write an essay. He wants to enter this essay contest with his school, but he just can't get the words flowing. So William Forrester brings out this paper and he says, "Here, use mine as a starting point." Well, he didn't tell him that that had been published before, and so he actually ended up getting in a bunch of trouble for plagiarism and all this stuff. But the concept is very sound. If you can't get your words to start out just right, find somebody else's words and use those as a springboard to launch your own thoughts. Just make sure you go and clean it up so you take their words out of it so you're not stealing from someone else and getting yourself into a lot of trouble. The second way that I actually use quite often is I have my idea. I know kind of what I want to write about. I might not have the specifics down. And so I get started with just a sentence or two, and then I save that and I move on to something else. So let's say I'm writing for a personal injury attorney, and I want to talk about something about car wrecks. I don't know quite exactly how it's going to come out yet, but so I just say there are a million different factors that go into car wrecks and what needs to be paid attention to in order to find the liability in the at-fault party and to seek compensation for you, the victim. Something along those lines, terribly written. I'd go back and highly adjust that. I save it, and then I'll go work on a different project, something that's not related to that at all. Or, more often, what I'll do is I'll try to do those. I know that they're coming up, and I know I'm not solid in what I want to write, so I try to start that just before, say, lunchtime. So I put that in, leave it, I go eat lunch, I maybe take the dogs for a walk, I do the dishes, something that just takes my mind completely away from anything writing related. Then when I come back, I can look at those 2 or 3 sentences and I'm like, aha, now I know how to say this. My third method that I use every single time I write is to just straight up outline things. You can make these outlines as detailed as possible, as detailed as you want, or you can just do little bullet points. My preferred method is to come up with some sort of a headline, something that will probably change, but pretty close to what it's going to be. And then I put my heading tags in there. And I say, a lot of times the first one is just a rewritten version of that title tag. And then I say intro. And then my next one, my H2 tag, I say such and such. And then I leave it a blank. And then I go all the way down and I get my 4 or 5 different sections in there. Then I can just go back through and fill in the information. It breaks this big project down into smaller projects. And then that way it's a lot easier to comprehend because now I don't have a giant project to work on. I have a small one. As soon as I'm done with that, boom, I have another small one. And so I can just get those words flowing really quickly, really easily, and then go back through and edit and change them around if they need to change around a little bit. This can apply to any type of writing that you want, whether you're doing some really sophisticated copywriting, pounding out a couple blog posts, or writing an entire book. Try to incorporate these the next time you find yourself with a little bit of writer's block. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Say It with Scott. I hope you found inspiration and education you can use in your business. As usual, if it doesn't make sense, if you just straight don't want to do any sort of writing and you need a professional to do it for you, hit the links in the description below. Reach out. I'd be glad to help. Before you go, please like, comment, and subscribe so you get notifications every time Strategic Advisor Board posts some great new content.